Hello.
So this literally came out of the blue.
Yep.
And it's literally the exact same pose as Darkside Collectible Studio.
Yep.
Darkside Collectible Studios, they noticed that.
Yep.
By the way. Yep.
Really?
They noticed that. Yeah. They
So
noticed that.
you're getting those text messages at 4 o'clock in the morning too?
I sure am getting those text messages at 4 a.m. and the same thing. It's like, gee, mini Christmas. So I are you shocked that it's exactly the same? Like, I can't believe it's the same.
Yeah, they must have just both went from the same reference photo, I guess.
I guess so.
Even the whip is in the same shape.
She's a little bit more twisted than the Darkside Collectible Studio.
Mhm.
And so we're going to kind of compare and contrast them here tonight. So I've got photos from both, and it's very exciting because they did release both of them. We also have price points, which is very good. So this one clocked in, I believe, at, what was it, $1,300. It does have LED illumination. But what do you think of the pose? Let's just talk about Prime 1 first. What do you think about the pose, and what do you think about the likeness?
Well, it's hard to talk about this without talking about the Darkside one at the same time.
Well, we can do that. I mean, we can talk about it too.
In comparison, I still like the Tweeterhead statue as far as pose goes. If I was a movie collector and I'm buying a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, I would probably lean towards the Tweeterhead if I wanted like a masked portrait. But
it's funny you mentioned that because I actually told Chad today. I said, Chad, you need to make yours in 3rd scale.
Yeah. But what Darkside has going for it is that unmasked portrait. And I'm not a movie collector, and just seeing that unmasked portrait makes me want to buy that statue.
Do you think Prime 1 would do what they did with the Joker and come out with a bust? With the second portrait?
That would be interesting to see how that looks on this.
I almost guarantee they're going to do that.
That would be interesting.
I think what they'd be smarter to do is kind of like the half mask that she has when she's really freaky.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she's ever completely unmasked in the movie.
Well, she does. She at the
Richard
very
Russell-
end, at the end she does take it off completely, but her hair's like really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that look with that half torn off portrait.
Right.
With the hair kind of coming out different areas.
Yeah.
Like that is that iconic look that everybody's wanted.
I think so.
And no one has done it. So I do think that if Prime 1 did come out with a second portrait, whether it's a separate purchase or not, which it's probably smart on their part because then they make additional money.
It would tilt me in the direction if it looked like that versus completely unmasked.
Right.
Because I don't know that I would ever put it on.
Right. I love the LED illumination on this one. I think it looks really good. It would be even cooler if it like blinked or something.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, both companies did the same base almost as well with the LED illumination, though.
Yeah. I think the cat's a little lame as a bonus. I would have rather
a good job with the cat. It looks like one of those like it looks like a street alley, like a feral cat. Like it's crazy. Like
yeah, it does. I mean, it's a cool looking cat. It's not cartoon.
It's the same X as Tweeterhead.
Right. It is. It is the same. I said it in my video. I think that the likeness is like 95% there for me. It's not 100% perfect. Although that one I showed you, I feel like the closer you get, the more it looks like Michelle than from a distance. She's got that same blue eyes. I did show my wife, if you wanted her opinion, I showed her the two statues between this and the Darkside, and she said that she feels like the body itself looks more like leather to her. And so she felt like the Prime 1 would be a little bit more accurate in terms of finish. A lot of people, though, are saying, they just don't know if they can trust Blitzway, that they could trust what the final product is going to be. And they a lot of them say, look at the Linda Carter. I feel like the Linda Carter looks very much like the prototype.
And I also read that these photographs obviously are professional, to where the Darkside was just quickly taken on a cell phone or something.
That's
true. That's a good point. That is a good point about that.
Darkside will have studio shots in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean they did that as a response.
Yeah.
Clearly. I mean they wanted their vision out for this as well. And so it is interesting to compare and contrast these. I don't think anybody's going to lose if you, no matter which way you buy. I think you're going to be real happy.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. I think they're both. It's obviously Michelle Pfeiffer, no doubt. Someone said on Statue Forum, and I think that they're right, that this head sculpt looks more like her in the department store scene of the movie.
Yes.
Whereas the Darkside portrait better represents how she looks throughout the movie rather than that specific scene.
I think that you hit that nail right on the head.
Yeah.
It absolutely, and that, you know, it's that pose with her kind of where she gets ready to start skipping.
Yep.
She just either is just getting ready to take the mannequin heads off, or maybe right after it. But I think that's exactly the scene. I mean, you could definitely get that feel from this.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely, again, the more I see this, the more I do see Michelle. Again, is it perfect? No. But I do think it's really, really good. One thing that I think Darkside has going for them is that they have announced that they are doing a Penguin and Batman and hopefully a Joker. I know Joker is always one of those hangups, but with Prime 1, we don't know if they're going to do any other characters. Yeah. So that is something that you might have to consider. Although I think that, you know, even if you get this and you get the other Darkside, they're all going to look good together. And also Darkside is going to do it in quarter scale. So that is another thing that we have to consider. If you're a quarter scale collector, that's also very exciting news. But I am going to order this.
The Prime 1? I'm
going to order the Prime 1, and I'm going to be getting in the Darkside. And so I cannot wait to show these side by side. And show you.
Either way, you can't go wrong with either one.
No, you cannot go wrong with either one. I love this, and I love the Darkside one. That's what's exciting. I love third scale, so I cannot imagine my collection without this. And just thinking that maybe we'll get a Keaton to go along with her, like that's like a dream for me in third scale. So I'm excited to see what both companies do. It's a great time to be a collector, obviously. And again, I just think that looks fantastic. I can't wait.
It is a slight disappointment that the pose is the same, because I think some collectors would buy both.
I agree. I think it is shocking to me that it's the same. But, you know, it's just sometimes we get those happy little accidents. You know, It is what it is. But let's move on to Darkside now. So these were released by Darkside. My wife did feel like this portrait right here, again, going back to her, she did feel like this looked more like Michelle. Mm-hmm. Some people think it looks a little bit stickery on the eyes. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but I do feel like it looks like her. This is the other unmasked portrait. So like you said, like you were having trouble remembering when she had her mask off, but and her hair was so crazy. Whereas this looks more like she did when she was like on the street in her street clothes, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I could see where maybe some people wouldn't want to display it that way. If it was a maniacal head or her hair was all frayed and crazy, I think that would fit the statue better.
Chris, I've got a funny, maybe a little bit different observation regarding these portraits.
Yes, please.
I think with Prime 1, I think people's concern with Blitzway is well-founded. I am one that does believe that the Linda Carter portrait for Wonder Woman, I think definitely is lacking compared to the prototype. Again, in my eyes. We
can even say that about the Joker. We love the Joker, but it is a downgrade in paint from what they originally showed us.
Certainly from a paint standpoint.
I think
the Linda Carter one, it's hard to tell for me with that one, whether it's paint, sculpt, or some combination. But
there's a lot of bad photos out there too of her.
I feel like this portrait, there's a higher degree of risk that it may not look like her as much as this one does. Whereas the other one, the Darkside one, is so clearly her with the smirk and the eyes that it's almost, I feel like there's less risk that one would be screwed up.
I agree.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that the idea that the production Prime 1 portrait, the eyes are going to look as good as they do. Yeah. I don't see that happening.
Exactly. I think that's riskier.
Yeah.
Not that they can't do it, but I mean, they very well could.
But they won't do it.
Yeah. And I also think that Darkside has more writing on this piece. I feel like this is a game changer piece for them. It's I don't know. I guess to me, it's a little bit more mainstream. Like, I mean, you think of like Picard or you think of Nimoy, some of those characters. I just feel like, I don't know. Do you guys agree with me that this character might just put him on the map?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a good point. Like you said, that if they're going to do the rest of the characters, they want to make sure they then continue to do the license and everything. So
Yeah. I mean, look at this portrait. Do I think, like, looking at the detail on her, I don't know if the leather looks as realistic as maybe the Prime One does, but there's no question that portrait is Michelle Pfeiffer. And it just is gorgeous.
I mean,
it really captures that smirk.
Like, you don't need to zoom in, even in these pictures, right? You don't need to zoom in on that to know that's her.
Correct.
And that's saying something.
It's got a base that's similar. It's got the hell here. It doesn't have it actually has the O as well. Me personally, I think I like the Prime One base just a little bit better, although I love the Max Shrek head.
yeah.
And it's got the 3 cats on it. And this one, they did reveal the price. This is $1,200 for this one, and it's going to be, I believe, $900 for the quarter scale.
I think that's one mistake they made.
That looks great.
Yeah,
I think
that's what sells it for me right there is that portrait on the statue.
It's beautiful.
everybody is very happy with the 1/3 price, but no one's happy with that 1/4 price.
You think it's too much?
It is too much.
It's because there's not a big enough price difference between the two.
That's correct. I think it should have been like $749 or something.
I agree. At least that a little bit, just like, because it is so close to the 3rd scale.
The problem is, if you look at Darkside's edition sizes, they're very small. I'm not sure they've ever gone over 500. So I don't know what they're thinking as far as edition size on this. It's not going to be as big as Prime One, so maybe that higher price is justified. But I heard a lot of quarter scale collectors complaining today about that $899 price. Even though Iron Studios, all their quarter scale stuff is $1,000 now.
Oh, yeah.
But for some reason, people did not feel that this was an $899 quarter scale piece.
And I'm not sure if you said it or not, but didn't they mention something about like not charging tax and duty fees and something like that?
There's an agreement between, according to the representative from Darkside, there's an agreement between the U.S. government and Greece, where this is manufactured or where this was designed, that the threshold for import taxes is very, very high, much higher than the price of this piece. So there's no scenario where she could envision anyone in the U.S. being charged import taxes for this statue.
That's great. They also had, I don't know if a lot of people missed it, but they also are going to do a life-size silicone bust of her.
Yeah.
So that's very exciting too. And I have not seen anything. I've not seen any behind-the-scenes stuff with that one.
Well, you might have. You might have. You might have.
We might have.
You might have.
Well, maybe I did.
Well,
So is this a race?
I can't say any more than that.
Okay. What were you going to say, Dan?
Is this a race to market now? I mean, who's going to hit the street first with theirs?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think so. I mean, I think that this is, they've actually had a delay with licensing, getting approval. And so, they obviously have it. But I think so too. I mean, obviously this Prime One's is already up for pre-order, and this one goes up, next week? I think. Yeah,
but I think Darkside's going to beat them. I can't imagine Darkside saying it'll be out in 2 years.
No, they will be. This will be out on the streets before Prime One. I guarantee it.
Prime One has way too many statues on their plate.
Yeah, I guarantee this one will hit first.
Yep.
So anyway, everybody wins. In my opinion, obviously price point is high for both. I mean, considering it is what it is, but it's like they're both beautiful statues.
They are.
And I just cannot wait to show this to you guys. So I can't wait. They have promised to send me one, and so I hopefully will be able to show you exactly what you're going to be getting, which is very exciting.
Did Prime One put an ES on it?
No, I don't think not
TBD.
yet.
TBD.
Yeah, TBD.
Michael,
I did ask my contact about edition size for the 1/3 scale, because it does say it's going to be limited, and they are not releasing that information yet.
Okay.
So just FYI to everybody.
I don't know, guys, if I'd be so definitive about Prime One not being able to get this seems to me, this is a piece that's going to sell some volume, right? This is not a 350 piece or 500 piece statue. This
No.
is
chance.
Yeah.
No
1,000.
chance.
So I think there's a lot of money on the table here. I would not put it past Prime One or any company, and if I were them, I would do it, is to adjust a production schedule to insert this one into a production schedule and push something else off.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
paint
same time-
can't be that difficult on this one.
Yeah. Well, also at the same time, please don't rush them and
yeah.
make
Yeah.
them
Right.
make the prototype.
But and Dan I feel like Prime One and Blitzway specifically has been getting stuff out quicker.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
they have, yeah. And that's only going to
they
improve.
have.
Yeah. That's only going to improve too, guys. And,
Yeah.
Production schedules change. I mean, I think there's, as important as this is to Darkside, I think this is an important first to market too, because they're so similar. You're getting the same customer. People aren't buying both of these.
Correct, except for
Yeah.
crazy people like me.
Yeah, right.
Well, that is true with Prime One, because if you look at some of their statues that they have out on pre-order, some are ahead of others, and you can see like
Yep.
this priority on certain pieces. So,
That's true.
Exactly.
So
So-
Michael asked in the chat where he can order the Darkside. Up until now, Sideshow has gotten all of the Darkside pieces. So there's a good
Correct.
chance to be able to order it from Sideshow.
I cannot imagine Sideshow not.
Right.
But we don't know for sure. Darkside will be selling direct. I know that for a fact. So you can order from Darkside whenever it goes up for pre-order. Of course, stay tuned to the channel. We will have links, and we'll let you guys know as soon as it does go up for pre-order. And I will hopefully have that exact date for my contact, and we'll get that out to you. Because again, I think this is going to go extremely fast, especially that it's limited. And so again, but you have the option of quarter scale as well. So like I said, everybody wins here. And again, I feel like where the big bonus for Darkside is not only is the likeness incredible, but also the fact that they are doing the Penguin, they are doing Keaton in third scale, in quarter scale. So just knowing that fact, where we don't know for sure from Prime One, that might sway some people to say, hey, I want to go with Darkside. But again, regardless, I think they're all going to look good together no matter what. But we don't have that information from Prime One. So anyway, anything else you guys want to say before we move on from Catwoman?
It's been an exciting week.
It has. It's been really fun to hear everybody's comments. It's been really cool.
And a cool side effect of this is that I think people have been reminded what a great piece the Tweeterhead piece is.
Yes. And again, that's why I contacted Chad. I'm like, I've heard so much positive about the Tweeterhead piece. It's like, you should do it in third. And he did message me back and saying it's just so expensive to produce it at that scale. But I don't know, if I pressure him enough, maybe he'll consider it, because I think a lot of people would buy it because again, that's just such a beautiful, iconic, different statue with her, sprawled out like that. So,
Well, but look at that Darkside portrait. That's very similar to the Tweeterhead.
it's very similar. It really is. I just really feel like
Pose kills the Tweeterhead for me because it's kind of, I don't have anywhere I could put it.
it's a little hard to display.
Yeah.
Because it's long. It's just different. And it's like, especially if you have all museum tall pieces and then you have this little short one. But I don't know, if he offered it in third scale, I would definitely consider it.
It's 20 inches wide. And when I looked up one of these, I can't remember which one. It might have been the Prime One. It was 12 inches wide for a 1/3.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
But
Crazy.
if Prime One is watching this, get on your game with likenesses better with these Blitzway collaborations, because I feel like they've all been a little iffy in places.
I think some of it has to do with final paint. Because
I've seen some video of the Jon Snow, and I thought that was going to come out killer, and it's kind of
Close.
yeah, I
it
feel like that
doesn't
one's
look
pretty close.
alive to me.
So
it just looks very static.
hopefully they will continue. Obviously, the photos that we're seeing here are professional, probably painted by KA or somebody. I don't know who the sculptor is on this one.
It's not K.A. Kim.
It's not KA. Okay.
No, she's the artistic director of the project.
Okay.
I wonder if it comes down to the material and, like you said, the way these are photographing, the way, like, Prime One uses that, like, translucent skin resin, which
Right.
doesn't photograph well.
And you could see the difference in skin tone here.
That won't be translucent resin from Blissway.
It'll
I don't
be
think.
plastic, right? It's usually a plastic
Yeah,
head, like a
that's
PVC
what
head.
they are.
Yeah.
Yep. So, again, time will tell. I feel like everybody wins. It is a tough choice, but I don't know. I think they both look great.
Yep.
Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.